Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios, once again with another episode of my Saltmarsh vlog. In this episode, we decided to take things a little slow. Ivani, Felix, and Cypress were unavailable, so it was just me and the other 4 players at my table. And when we last left off, we had Granny Nightshade steal a few members of the party. Now, due to me hurting my back, I was unable to play the following week, so we just kind of retconned who got kidnapped, because, ironically, the people who could make it to last session were not able to make it. So I basically just swapped, because the people who couldn't make it were able to make it. So there was a swap, people were still kidnapped, but the session was relatively short in terms of storytelling. However, a very large, impactful decision had been made. So as the players were leaving the lair of Valentine the Vampire, they ended up in a ballroom, an orchestral band playing and noble men and women dancing in the hall, as the party turned and noticed Berric, the fighter, was now a 14-year-old boy. He had gotten much smaller, because today was a day in Berric's history. The vision was his family home, a fanciful place where a celebration was taking place. The 17th birthday of Berric's older sister, the day she becomes of age. While this is going on, Berric's mother comes up to him and tells him, it's time to go sit with your father and sister. We're going to go sort through the suitors and whatnot, and Berric starts going with them. Zorp has a -1 to intelligence and wisdom, so his player plays along beautifully and just goes, yeah, Zorp's just gonna go grab free food. I'm not even gonna question the obvious illusion we just walked into. However, Theron, the orc who is also a cleric wizard, and then Evander, our rogue, they're both like, yeah, no, we would like to roll something. Can we roll something to look through this? And I said, yes, you both may make an intelligence saving throw. This illusion was caused by Granny Nightshade, who, as I am still building her stat block, I'm kind of making things up on the fly, I have decided the DC for her saving throws is going to be 20. I might bump this up to 21 just because I want her to be extremely powerful, but I feel like 20 is a fair number for now. Unfortunately, Evander rolled a 19, so he did not see through anything. Although I told him you do feel like something's off. Just basic intelligence and wisdom would tell you we were in a forest 12 seconds ago. Now, on the other hand, Theron rolled a 23. So even if I had made the DC 21, he'd have still seen right through it. So he looks around and he starts noticing inconsistencies. Like one woman was dancing in a white dress, and then suddenly the dress is blue. And one, servant walking around with food has a tail that sort of slips back into his coat. But most importantly, the hand that is holding young Berric and leading him away is old, withered, and blue. So he slaps the hand away, the guards come out, they point at him, and little Berric looks up to him and just goes, dude, that's my mom. And he goes with his mother. All the while, Theron is like, you know what? Fine, live in your little illusion. I'm going to go have food with Zorp. But Evander is not letting this go. Evander casts Detect Magic. So I tell him, okay, you cast Detect Magic. You are immediately just blindsided by the massive amount of illusion magic going on here. And he says, fine, that makes sense. I kind of saw that coming. Get it? See? But he tells me, I would like to find the epicenter of the magic. Which, he made a perception check, he looked around, and the magic seemed to be centered around Berric. But it started to move away from him. So that's when Evander starts following the illusion, and once it gets decently away from Berric, where he feels it's safe, he takes the gun he stole from Gellin Primewater and shoots the illusion. Rewinding a little, back to what Berric was up to. Berric is sitting down with his mother and his sister and his father, and his mother is kind of waving away different suitors. No, this one's too tall, this one's too fat, this one doesn't have enough hair, this one has too much hair. whatever, just superficial reasons that nobles would pick for shooing away someone. All the while, Zorp and Theron, they both decide, okay, we need to know. Hey, Berric, is your sister hot? Because, hey, it's D&D, we gotta have these kind of questions. Berric decides to roll, Berric's player decides to roll, and he gets a 19. So, yeah, she's a very attractive woman. So the two of them get in line, and the mom's waving people away, and Theron comes up, and she goes, no, that's an orc. So he just leaves, and then Zorp comes up as this big amoeba thing, and she's just like, I don't even know what you are. I'm just gonna label you under filthy. Go away, glob man. So the two of them walk away, and they go back to eating, sulking sadly. Then Berric's father sits down next to him. So Berric's player gave me a very short and to the point kind of backstory for him. He grew up as a noble. He dreams of adventure. He's not really a big fan of the noble lifestyle, but there's still a care for his family involved. So his father sits down next to him and tells him, this is an important event. It's important for our family name to keep going. Your sister can keep our bloodline alive, but you can keep our name alive, which is more important. The reason I chose to make Berric 14 in this sense is because it was at 16 that his father accepted him and gave him his family's great axe, plus his sister at the time was 17. This will be important later. So his father tells him, we've decided to, find lessons for you, make you as powerful, as influential, as intelligent as we can, and we have found a fantastic teacher of magic for you. To which Theron responds, well, Father, I thought we already paid for the best teachers in the Sword Coast. And his father says, no, this one is beyond that. She is very powerful, and the best part is, she doesn't even want payment in money. All she wants is this moment to today. And I worded that very weirdly so that everyone at the table kind of had to sit and think about it. So his father holds out his hand and says, Berric, would you like to have this teacher? And as Berric grabs his father's hand and begins to shake, that is when a gunshot rings out and a Cambion gets shot by the gun. All of a sudden, the illusion shatters literally, revealing all of these noble men and women to be imps and spined devils, as the entire party is surrounded by fiends in all directions, including this Cambion. The Cambion has a little pink wristlet on. It's a glass wristlet with pink liquid inside, because this is one of Zorp's family, which it's a good excuse for me to just throw in another one of Zorp's family, because he's got a pretty big family. So if I want to actually have him collect them, these guys have to appear kind of frequently. So Zorp's already invested, doesn't even know what's going on. That's his family member there captured. So the fight has begun. But Berric realizes his hand is not holding his father's, but Granny Nightshade. I have a rule at my table. I do not take away my player's autonomy. So I told him, hey, I know this is a big dramatic moment, but I want to step off the table for a second and say, hey, what I'm basically having Granny Nightshade offer you is your next level up to be a warlock of the Archfey. Are you okay with that? If not, your next level up can just be a fighter, and we'll give you something like, you can use Eldritch Blast now. But he totally went down for it. He was like, no, this is cool, this is narrative, we'll do this. So he is multi-classing into warlock in their next level up, which should be next session. I know I just said that in my last episode that I was going to level them up, but I think another epic battle might be on the horizon involving another hag that works for Granny Nightshade, as well as what I'm hoping to do is bring back some friends as enemies. But anyways, so he's made this deal with Granny Nightshade, and all throughout the fight, Granny is just kind of watching, just kind of having fun. She throws a delayed fireball, and I will admit, I was a little peeved when Theron and when Theron and Zorp's players were immediately like, "Oh, we know what that spell is. We saw the little bead come from her hand and float next to us. Never used it in this campaign. The characters themselves have never seen the spell, but the two of them knew immediately to get away from it. Metagaming. So rude. But it's okay. One's a wizard and one's lived in the astral sea, so it made sense for their characters to know it anyways. But, sometimes people, if you're a player, play along with your DM even if it's super dangerous. Anyways. So she threw a little delayed fireball and she held on to it until everyone was safely away. She's not gonna... She's messing with them. She had no intention of actually hurting any of them. Until the end of the fight, when she cast Flesh to Stone on Zorp. And as the Cambion was defeated, Zorp failed his third save and turned to stone. So Granny, standing there, all smiling and looking at Berric, and all the other demons have been defeated, and Berric just looks at her and goes, "Can you please give me my friend back?" So she walks up to him, and she gently caresses his cheek, and she says, "For you, anything." And she takes away the spell by just casting Dispel Magic, because she's that powerful. Granny Nightshade now has a warlock in the party. What she's going to do with that, who knows? What I'm going to do with that, who knows? I just thought it would make some interesting dramatic tension. So, kind of a short session, but a nice way to segue back into things after, kind of hurting myself a little. I should be fine by next week. Anywho, that's pretty much it for today's episode. I'm looking forward to the next session because Granny is not done playing with them. Their pals, their allies are still missing, and the session ended with them hearing a scream in the distance, which was one of the player characters who has been kidnapped. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next episode. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.